Hey y'all, it's Nana with Nana So Crafty at LivingCooper.com. I have a coop simple how-to for you. How to make these cute little baby burp cloths. So baby comes along, put the baby on your shoulder, burp your baby. They're not fussy, they're not super decorated. That way the mamas can use them. They don't feel uncomfortable because they're too pretty to use. Anyway, it's a pack of 5 Gerber pre-fold cloth diapers, and I bought fat quarters for each diaper. And it was really easy, simple. Anyway, follow along as I show you how to make these quick, fun baby gifts. Keep watching. Okay, y'all, let's get these burp cloths going. So, I lost my template. I need to turn these pieces of fabric into essentially this size and shape. And I use a cereal box for my template. Makes it easier for ironing later. I need to open my diaper, show you. These are the Gerber pre-fold premium diapers. They're already folded up and they've got a seam down the middle. So that's what we're going to put our fabric on. So I need a template to make my fabric to go right like that down the center. We're going to sew it on these seams. So let's see. Nope, I do need 2 boxes. You see my cereal box isn't quite long enough. I'm going to trim this up a little bit more. Obviously if I had a longer cardboard I wouldn't have to staple it together, but I don't. Just using supplies that I had at home. Alright, so these pre-fold diapers have 2 seams in them. Go right down and split it in thirds. And we're trying to cut the strips of fabric. When they're sewn, we're going to sew them along those seams. All these diapers are imperfect, so it's an imperfect kind of project. You may or may not get it exactly right. I'm going to measure it. So on this end, it's 3.5 inches, 3 3/4 inches. And on this end, it's 4 inches. But I need to have 1/4 inch seam allowance on all 4 sides. So, because it's 4 inches, I want my template to be 4 inches wide, because as we get the fabric open, we're going to iron the fabric around the template and spray starch it to make it easier to attach later. Completely unnecessary step if you want it to be, but for me it works easier this way. So, I need to make this 4 inches wide, and the diaper itself is 19.5 inches long, but I'm going to go ahead and make the length of it 21 inches because some are longer, some are shorter, and you can always fold it under further. So we decided our template needs to be 4 inches wide, 21 inches long. So I need to staple my boxes together to make my template. If you have a longer piece of cardboard at home, you don't need to do this. And I use cardboard because when I spray my magic sizing, gets wet and the cardboard usually sustains. The template that I used to have, I've had for about 8 years, and it's seen me through several hundred burp cloths. My only concern with this is the glue coming off when we iron it, so Pop suggested parchment paper. So I'm going to go right down the edge of this. This is going to be our starting line. So we want 4 inches. These are obviously not my sewing scissors because it would be very bad to use them on cardboard. My junky crafting scissors. Alright, now let's do our length. That's 21 1/4. I need to take off 1/4 inch. I mean all the way across the bottom. So there's my template. So I need a piece of parchment paper. I want the parchment paper to be covering up the frosted flakes just because I'm afraid it may bleed. So the parchment paper shiny side does get a little tacky. I'm going to see if I can iron it on here so I don't have to worry about it later coming off. That way I don't have the bulk of the parchment paper messing up my edges on my fabric that I'm going to cut in a minute. Again, this step is probably not necessary, but because my box is a bright blue, I did not want it to come off on my diapers or my fabric. All right, so there's my template. It's gonna fit right in the diaper here. As you can see, it's too long, but we'll iron it under so we can make a seam all the way around. On to the actual diaper burp cloth. Get all this stuff out of the way. Template, scissors. Need to protect my table, even though it's a work table. These are just fat quarters I picked up at Walmart. Sometimes the pattern doesn't work how I want it, but most of the time it's fine. I'm gonna open them all up, iron them out. If you have fabric, when I buy remnants, I'll use remnants for this process too. As you see, it just takes a little bit of fabric. Fat quarters are cute, and when I find them on sale or find them in the packets, it's a perfect solution for these diaper burp cloths. People are probably saying, you're supposed to wash it before you use it. Not this woman. Okay, you can get approximately 4 strips, a little extra, if you just don't iron it over and have a seam allowance. In some cases I've done that before, and I'll just cut this size piece without a seam allowance, and I'll use pinking shears and then just sew a piece of ribbon on the edge over it, and it works just fine. But I'm gonna cut my fabric a little bit wider because I want to iron over the edges. So I need to have a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch seam allowance because I'm going to press over the edges to make the attaching easier later. If you don't want to do it that way, you can cut it exactly along that size and then do a pinking shear to keep it from fraying, and then I would sew a ribbon or something over the edge. Just kind of however you decide to do it. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to cut 1 strip. I'm not going to cut through all my pieces at one time. Alright, so I put my 5 pieces of fabric pretty evenly across my cutting mat. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to cut my strips. And remember, I needed it to be this wide plus about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Alright, so I'm going to move this over by 1 inch because I want to cut 5 inches. This is a 6-inch wide ruler. Just double check, make sure I'm happy with the overage. So this side is going to iron over and this side's going to iron over. That's why I want it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to cut my strips. So that's the 5 I'm going to make today already. Let me go ahead and finish this off. Alright y'all, Pop's had to finish that for me. You'll have to check out some of Pop's videos. He's got some awesome things coming along. Anyway, so I have 2 more sets here that can be used later for more diapers. Done with all the hard stuff. It's real simple. Use fabric. Now, as you can see, there's a white spot from the selvage edge. I'm just going to make sure that that gets folded in. My iron. So I use magic sizing just to get it damp. Iron it over on the template. You just need a little bit of a seam allowance. So this again is not exact. After you've done it a time or 2, it goes pretty quick. So I always iron up one side, but not the other. So you have to make adjustments while you're sewing. So I fold in the corner if it's long like this to give it a cleaner edge. I'm going to tap it with a little more spray. After I get it ironed, pull the template out and then just leave it on the table. Tap it down real quick. And I leave it underneath there while I do the others just for some extra pressing. You don't have to, it's just a weird thing I do. Alright, y'all just keep watching. Keep going with all my other pieces. I roughly pin these because they wiggle. So first thing I do is I pin the edge that I already ironed under. And I try to to line it up with the seam. They said they're all rough sewn, they're not terribly even. I pin one in the middle. And as you can see, I have plenty of fabric at the end to adjust it as needed one way or the other. When I sew it, I'm going to sew one long side, the short side, and then back down, and then I will adjust for the bottom. So I didn't sew an end because I thought that was going to be too short. So I'm going to make my end by folding it under. Because I didn't iron it, I'm going to make it on the fly. So had this been too short, like I suspected it was, I would have just moved it up and put a piece of ribbon or something decorative, something on there. Try not to make them too frilly because they are to be used, and mamas still throw bleach on them and stuff like that. They're not keepsake heirlooms, they're utility burp cloths with cute little design. Now our niece is what, 5½, and I must have made her mom a couple dozen of these, and she was always throwing them in the washer and off she'd go. She said it was nice to have so many because she didn't have to worry about running out of burp cloths and using blankets. I know when my kids were little, I always had a blanket over my shoulder for a burp cloth. I had some of these, but they weren't so pretty as these are. They're just plain white ones. You can always embellish them, decorate them, put some trim on them, but you know, I just put a little bit on there. Makes it cute. They're not overdone. I want the mama I gift them to feel like she can use them, but they're not just to look at. Time to sew. Keep watching. Like I said, sew it up one side. If you have a machine that has fancy decorative stitches, this is a fun place to do that. I just do a simple seam with about an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm not going to sew right at the end because we still have to tuck it under. So I'm going to start in. I'm going to do back and forth a little bit too. That's where all that ironing comes in handy. You see how quick it is to sew it on. Just a couple of pins. I'm going to trim this. Turn my sides in and make my little triangles. Fold it under to the end of the cloth. Tack it down. Threads, one super cute burp cloth in the books. Follow along as I finish them up. So I was just checking to make sure I caught all my end pieces. I noticed at this end I did not, so I went ahead and put in another seam. Just like that, we have 5 baby boy burp cloths. And I don't have any gray ribbon, but I was going to use, just show you how else you could do this. Just get some ribbon, and sometimes if the fabric's too short, I'll buy a piece of ribbon and just run it across the bottom if the fabric was too short. Or you can get decorative and put ribbon on it. Like I said, I try not to do that because it makes it too fussy, and mamas don't like to use those really pretty things. These are practical and cute to look at. A friend of ours had a baby boy a few weeks ago. Gonna get them all in the mail to him. His nursery is gray and different shades of blue, so I just found some cute little fabric. Well, did you see how to do that? Pretty easy, pretty quick. Just a little bit of money involved. Make great long-lasting gifts for mama and baby. And I just want to let you know, I don't wash these before I give them to the mama because some mamas have different laundry soaps or whatever they use. So it gives them a chance to get all their washing in with their preferred laundry products. I appreciate y'all watching. I hope you check out some of our other videos. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. Find us on our other social media platforms at Pinterest, Twitter, and Instagram. Our handle is LivingCooper. Keep watching.